What's up everyone, I'm Dave Mech and welcome to this Perkons demonstration tutorial video. And yeah, this video is going to be aimed to show you how much fun the Perkons is. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the features and all the options that it has. I'm just going to show you a couple of fun things. I'm just going to jam out, and all the while I'm doing that, I'm going to kind of explain some cool things about it and maybe some quirks that we'll run into. But mainly we're going to walk into very awesome stuff. That I just really like, because yeah, I really love this machine as a studio device, but also for live. The only downside I would say is that it is quite big, right? It's a wonderful form factor. Everything is spaced out nicely and it feels really cool. But to travel with this thing is a bit it's a bit difficult. You can also see that I removed the sides to make it slightly smaller, and also I think it looks really cool. Without further ado, a very quick run through of what this thing is. We have 4 voices. Each voice is different. First 2 voices are a bit similar, but they are different. Mainly used for drones or kicks, I should begin with really. Kicks, drones, basses, gnarly sounds, stabs, things. Voice 3 is kind of snares, claps, toms, low toms, and one kind of kick that you can make from a low tom, but it's okay, but it's not really a kick, I'd say. But you can create nice bass lines with it as well. Voice 4 is mainly aimed towards shakers, hi-hats, cymbals, but can do a lot of tonal stuff as well. It is actually very nice for kind of arpeggiator-like bass lines, melodies, that sort of thing. So it's a very nice voice, actually. Then we have a bucket braid delay that we can send each individual voice to. We have an LFO modulating the time of that. We have a master section, a master compressor, which can make the whole thing quite gnarly and distorted, which is cool. But it's a very nice compressor, very analog. And we have a LFO, which can be routed to these parameters for each voice. So basically all the parameters of each voice, except for the switches, of course. And then we have this beautiful grid, 4 lanes of sequencing. For each voice, we have a dedicated lane, which is one of the coolest things about this thing, really. We have 4 trigger buttons with which we can trigger a voice. Then this sequencer is also used to do a lot of stuff to change things up. You can actually see this indicated by the labels here. By holding shift or pressing shift, we go into shift mode. You can divide the sequence playback, multiply. We add groove, which kind of changes the volume for each steps in a specific way. We have 4 different versions of that, and the play mode: forward, backward, ping pong, and random. Now we can also set shuffle from 0% to, I think 80 or something. I don't know exactly, but it's very almost shifting everything on top of each other. We can change the length of each of the tracks individually, so we can create polymeters. And we can live record all the knobs into the sequencer. We can parameter lock all the parameters, including the switches, into the sequencer. We have different odds. Play the first time of 2 times, 3, 4, and 8, and don't play the last. Yeah, it's a bit strange, but they're quite useful. And ratchets also we have, and I'll kind of explain when I add them how everything works. I'm just now going through this whole thing very quickly, so you get kind of an idea of what I'm doing when I'm kind of tweaking knobs. And this mod knob kind of activates the destinations and the depth of the LFO, right? So here we have tune for each of the voices, decay, parameter 1, parameter 2, VCF, drive, accent, and the level. Right, we can modulate that with this one LFO, and we can turn on sync for this LFO, and we can morph between a variety of waveforms and have a master depth as well, which really helps in making the modulations even more subtle than the 10% that is here, because that's already quite a bit of depth for some cases. Then we have kits that we can save and patterns that we can save, and you can link them together. So when I play a pattern like this, this, it automatically loads the kit with it as well. Right? Now, when I want to clear this and want to play with everything how it's set currently, I press clear and pattern, or load an empty pattern, right? And press clear plus kit. And now all the knobs are representative of their values. That's kind of good to know. So clear kit kind of goes into manual mode. And now I'm gonna play. And you'll see that I use voice 2 as a kick because I prefer it to the first voice because it's a bit cleaner. It's a very nice kick. And one thing I really like to do, because this kick, as you can hear, it goes so deep. So I often set this filter to high pass, kind of high pass a little bit. And you can hear now it's going through this filter. There's noise being added, or distortion actually, and there's no way of removing this. But these are things that I just accept and go with the flow. But this helps in managing that low end a little bit. So we also have a kick on the first voice. If I set it to the same settings, you will see that it sounds completely different. Right? It's not even close. The kick on algorithm 2 is quite nice, but and on voice 2 is kind of the same. But different. See? I'm gonna start with a drone. And to start with a drone, or to add a drone, simply turn up the decay completely. So we can add a bandpass filter. I'm gonna search for, I think, yeah. So in algorithm 2, this parameter 1 actually does something, and algorithm 3 doesn't do much. And here we can, in algorithm 1, it also does something. So here we can, I'm gonna modulate this. I'm gonna go to the mod, set this very slow, add this to, set the waveform to triangle. And we're gonna choose cutoff, and there we go. You can see that if I want to clear this, I simply press clear, and I clear the modulation depth on when I'm on the mod page. I think I also have some. There we go. Nice. So let's add another drone. You can hear how nice they kind of blend together. And this is also cool. I really like the Perkons as a sort of a drone machine. Now let's modulate this as well. Maybe the tune, or let's modulate the cutoff as well. And parameter 2. one thing I really like about Perkons is that we get a lot of individual outputs, right? We get a send and return, which is of course mono, so that's why I generally don't use it, because I like stereo effects. But we have an individual output. Now, I have a cable here, and you can see that the red portion is connected to this delay, and this white portion is this white plug is connected to the reverb, the autobahn. And now if I input this into the individual out of voice 1, this happens. You can now hear this beautiful delay raindrops by Dreadbox, but we don't hear it on the main out anymore, right? I can turn this level knob, doesn't do anything. I can turn this up, doesn't do a thing. It doesn't send to the bucket brake delay again anymore, which is quite unfortunate. But I'm here to tell you that there's a solution, luckily, and that is if I take this out. So now it's back to the main out. If I input this into the direct output, but not completely. So you will see that if you input this very slowly, you get one click, which does nothing. But if I one click more here, you will see that now it's sent to the raindrops, but also to the main out. See, if I turn this level down, it's gone. When I turn it up, it's sent to the main out. And the effects sent to the bucket brake delay, of course, then also works. See? Changing the time. Sounds. There we go. Now I can use external effects and keep the internal routing intact. So I'm also gonna output this second the same way on voice 4. Individual output. And now I'm going to add that reverb. Won't be super obvious because, of course, I put it into the wrong socket. There we go. That's better. Everything down a little bit because this is a bit too much. There we go. Of course, good to know is that for the effects, I need to adjust the levels on my mixer, of course. But you can hear, I really, I can listen to this all day, basically. All those interactions, those harmonics are kind of interacting with each other in very beautiful ways, I think. Of course, you have to twiggle the knobs. I'm gonna add the auto bomb as well. Auto boom, I should say. I always make that mistake, even in the last video that I did on the auto boom. Let's turn that on. Everything. And now this low tone is still there. I'm gonna set this to the thunder wave, and we're gonna modulate the filter again. A bit faster. It's quite nice, and if I sync the LFO, you can get some very nice rhythms with this thunder wave. subtle waveform than this. And of course, we can do some nice performance stuff here. Let's do some Control-Alt stuff. That went a bit. Okay, now let's clear this voice. And use the bandpass filter or the high-pass filter. And just add some shakers. It's actually a snare, but you can kind of repurpose other stuff to kind of using high-pass filter, for instance. This is quite nice, mode 3. Now, add some groove to this track. Shift. 4 different types of groove. I like the first one. Use that a lot. Add some little bit of shuffle. Maybe record the decay a little bit. Now let's ping pong. Quirky. So, switch back. And you can see how quick everything goes. Parameter lock, kind of remove the transient of the kick. Get this nice roll going. Let's see where we can kind of take this, and what I kind of like to do sometimes, and this can go completely wrong, by the way. Kind of turn on the chord and just keep going. Step, length, the amount of steps. myself here a bit, but that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here, is that it's just so much fun to play with, and you kind of, sometimes you kind of get into this place where, oh, where am I going? But then if you just keep going and just, you know, if it sounds a little bit odd or something, just clear the track and do something new. Clear the track, do something new. And you will eventually get into these very, very nice kind of places that are just wonderful. Maybe it's not constantly like a mega hit that I'm creating, but it's kind of this flow that you get into, and yeah, this sort of thing. I think this sounds really cool. And to get there, sometimes you have to go through a little bit of a noisy state, I guess, but I like it. Now, I've been using this, as you can see, I've been using the Voice 4 kind of as a bass line the whole time, melody bassline thing, and Voice 3 is a sort of a snare slash shaker thing. And now if I mute this, you can actually hear that this bass line. I'm in algorithm 2 and voice mode 2. You can also have this bass line and at the same time create some kind of shaker or snare, whatever you want to call it, noise. But that way you get more out of that one voice. It's basically doing two things right now. To change the amount of steps on the sequence to 7. Or this 7. 6, I mean. 7. Let's do 7. Now, if I want to change tempo, I'm not entirely sure what I am. Let's see. Let's set it to 42. I think it was 142. you can actually choose shift, press shift and change the tempo. And then I can set the tempo exactly as I want to. And now, what is also cool is to just do something with voice 1. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do something. I've cleared the track, right? And let's set it to, I don't know. Yeah, algorithm 2, but voice 3. Oh man, this is, I know what voice this is. It's very gnarly. I'm just gonna tap something in, right? Let's do a kind of a Euclidean rhythm thing where this is 7 steps. Let's take away some of that high frequency. It's kind of so you can hear me talk. And let's change this to a, what shall we do? Shall we do 12 steps, right? So 2 times 6. And we're gonna just input something like this. Decay time quite low, because otherwise it might sound horrible. Parameter 2 down, because that's the kind of the pitch sweep. And I generally, it's a bit, yeah, it sounds a bit toonish sometimes. For if I want to kind of, yeah, have a stab going or something. But let's slowly bring that in here. And of course, it's also rooted to the delay, so I'm gonna turn the delay all the way back, time, and unmute this, and just see what happens. Total lucky shot. Change the pitch on these 2 steps of the kick, kind of create more of a bass line. And that's also good to remember that you can use the kick track for kick and bass at the same time, and it will kind of work because it's the steps are cutting each other off. Trippy. And I'm not even using voice 3 right now, right? Let's see what we can add there. Ah, yeah, great. This is this is a bug, and it really sucks. I want to unmute this, but somehow I changed the level, then pressed shift, and then wanted to unmute, and instead of unmuting, I let go of shift, and suddenly it has changed the level for all the voices. I had this sometimes on the tune parameter. That is really, yeah, it's something you don't want to happen, because it's just, you know, everything is gone suddenly and you have to kind of tune everything back. I'm still not sure, I cannot really reproduce it. So Erica Synths, if you're watching, this is definitely a thing, and you just saw it, and I'm not entirely sure why it happens. I think it happens every time when I'm a bit too quick with muting, going from a knob into a shift and muting or unmuting, something like that. Anyway, let's just move on, because we were in a nice trip. So that's nice. So let's add a little bit of shuffle and a groove. Maybe another groove. Here you can really hear the changes of grooves, so I will go through them. So without. Also the mod, and I'm gonna modulate the level. And I'm gonna modulate VCF. There we go. And this, I'm in algorithm 2. Modes 1, 2, or 3 are kind of changing the amount of claps, as you can hear. And the parameter 1 is adding also this kind of delay. It is a delay. It's kind of a bucket braid delay within this voice, which is very nice. And you can. This is a resonance, which you can make this sound more like a clap. If you turn it all the way to the left, it becomes more like a shaker almost. But it's also nice to kind of modulate, so let's do that. And then a bit more extreme, so I'm gonna set it to 2, high depth, set this to the middle or something. Nice. Also decay, a little bit of modulation, and you can see that you can kind of keep going with this, it's nice. Going to change voice 1's parameter 1 modulation, make it a bit more. Turn down the delay a little bit. This is actually quite a nice groove, and I'm giggling. I just really, it's just such a joy to play this thing. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video and me noodling and really enjoying this thing. I'm gonna let's make some sort of ending. I'm gonna save this pattern though, so I can show you how to save a pattern and a kit. So this is control. I'm gonna let this go and it should return. There we go. I'm actually gonna save this. I'm gonna go to pattern. And this is also a thing. If you want to do this, I have pattern link on, which links patterns and kits. And if I would save this pattern to a new one, sometimes it messes up a little bit because it then loads this kit. So generally I tend to first save the kit. There we go. And then go to pattern and save the pattern on the same spot. There we go. Now I can mess about with this without destroying it, and then I'll So if you like this type of content, please subscribe to my channel, share the video, like the video, enjoy the video, and I'm going to make more videos featuring the Perkons, some jams, maybe even another video, maybe dedicated to kind of using it as a specific thing. So maybe specifically as a drum machine, or specifically as a drone machine, or for melodies, or that sort of thing. So it's definitely not just a simple drum machine or groove box. You can get some great minders out of this thing. So I'll probably do another video where I show kind of the different types of thing that you can do, or multiple videos, I don't know yet. Anyway, I'm babbling as I tend to do sometimes when I'm enthusiastic about something. Let's just quit the video right now. I'm probably gonna stop this mid-sentence.